did you get to write the story of Gbagba?
It's funny. I had the story, it was already in my mind. I had conjured it up long before I'd even written it. I worked for the Liberian government for 4 years, and one of the things I was responsible for was reforming, completely overhauling our bilateral scholarship scheme. So basically looking at scholarships that Liberia was receiving from countries, Morocco, Egypt, you name it. And one of the things I discovered was that scholarships were being sold essentially to the highest bidder, and government officials were giving scholarships, these national awards, to their family members. And so the president of Liberia at the time, who was my boss, asked me to reform the system in such a way that it could become merit-based and transparent. And that's what I did. I worked with a small team of different representatives from ministries and agencies in Liberia. And we came up with a framework on overhauling the bilateral scholarship scheme, making it gender balanced and transparent and merit-based. As a result, the conditions or the credentials for even applying for the scholarships became really stringent. And we discovered quite early on that people were trying to bypass the system by forging their national exam records. We encountered particularly 4 young men who had done that. They forged their national exam records to become eligible for a scholarship to Morocco. And they didn't realize that we were sending all official documents to the sources. So we sent all of the national exam records to the WIAC, the West African Exams Council, to verify all the grades. And they returned these particular exam records, informing us that they had validated them, and in fact, they had been forged. So
Wow.
we called the young men in and we asked them, we interrogated them, quite gently, and asked them to explain to us how their scores were completely changed from the
Yeah.
original that we had gotten from the WIAC.
Yeah.
And they finally confessed after almost 30 minutes of interrogation. And I realized through this experience that it was really important not to wait until someone is 18 years old, in the prime of their adolescence, on the verge of adulthood, but we really needed to start a conversation, a national conversation with children in Liberia as early as 8 years old, about what it means to have integrity, what it means to be accountable, and what it means not to practice these sort of corrupt practices with the sort of expectation that you would get away with it.
Yeah.
So the story started, the seeds were planted in that particular encounter that I had with these young men. Now in 2012, Wayetu Moore, who's a young Liberian social entrepreneur based in New York, she had established a children's book industry to produce children's books that were not represented in the mainstream children's book industry. So
Okay.
she approached me and she asked me if I would be interested in writing a children's book that would go out in 2013 as a part of the Liberia Signature Series, looking at veteran authors and illustrators and showcasing their work. And I told her absolutely. I jumped at the opportunity, but because again, I had already conjured up this story in my head, and I told her that I wanted to focus on the issue of corruption, and she thought it was fantastic. So
Okay.
I teamed up with a Liberian graphic artist, Chase Walker, and he illustrated the story, and it was published in January 2013. We launched it officially in Liberia in February 2013. So that's the story behind Gbagba.
What are your plans now?
Okay, so we actually started a promotion, a special promotion for the book that we are doing for the month of December. And the idea is, while children wait out Ebola, we don't know when schools will reopen. Unfortunately, they've been suspended indefinitely until the Ebola outbreak is completely contained in Liberia. So while children wait out Ebola, what we want to do is we want to get physical copies of Gbagba in their hands. And we are enabling people, anyone who's interested in donating a copy, to go to the One More Books shop online and to purchase a copy or a number of copies of Gbagba with a special promotion code Gbagba that will be directly shipped to Liberia in early January.
Any thoughts on getting the book further into Africa, into other countries?
Once we have a stronghold in Liberia, the idea definitely is to get this book in the hands of children across the continent of Africa so that they can start having conversations with their parents and their teachers and the adults who are in their lives about how these confusing ethical codes are definitely not a good thing, that they need strong examples of how to live ethical lives and how to live a life that is filled with integrity and honesty.
Okay. Now,